Hello everybody, this is Simon with Let's Play Sonic Unleashed. Now to address something immediately, you might have noticed it last time but didn't have time to talk about it. The medal counts were a little bit off. That's because I had to re-record last session and this session because I did an oopsie with the audio. You're going to see what exactly I mean later on as I cut some clips in. So this here is non-canon basically. All what I do here does have nothing to do with the main save file. However, I do show off that the game does tell you that you can in fact right now level up. And also the levels are inconsistent, so again, this is not how my build actually looks like, so just forget about this. I'm just showing off that you can. I am also going to show off that yes, I did in fact turn off the battle theme for the Werehog because it is very grating to hear it all the time, and this stage has very nice music and also a lot of fights and lots of minor enemies that don't despawn easily, so it's good that we can keep hearing the music. It also has new enemies here, and I haven't really talked about enemies yet. People do criticize that the enemy variety isn't that good in this game. It's true, there could be more. It's not like in many brawlers where you keep having new enemies show up all the time, but I think it's okay. Like, there are variants, for example this guy with the shield, we've seen him in Apotos. Very easy to take out with a special QTE attack, of course, because that ignores the shield. And even if you botch it, the shield is gone afterwards, so that's nice. And the flowers we've just seen, kind of annoying because they are ranged for the first time here and are going to get shooting you very soon after they see you. But that's exactly what the shield is for, and I've promised myself I would get better at using it, so here is Were, for example. Another thing we're going to see in this stage is that I actually kind of suck at getting the medals here. They are quite well hidden, and so far I haven't really done a 100% run, and I have not looked at a guide or anything. So I simply do not know where all the medals here are. I will rectify this at some point, but for now I prefer to just play through the game, not worry about this. As I've said before, let's just forget about it. The stage itself is rather obviously broken up in arenas, platforming arenas. That is something that is going to become a mainstay later on. In Apotos you had a bunch more of, yeah, here is a tutorial zone, but in this case the game starts to expect you to generally know how to deal with it. Something that we just saw, something that is always a little bit annoying to me, is it's actually kind of finicky to grab the enemies for the QTE. You have to actually have the button prompt show up. Otherwise, Sonic will try to grab them with his extendo arms, and you can try that for the large robots, it just won't do anything. Sonic just bounces off because he can't actually grab them, unless they are lying on the ground after you knock them down with an attack. That did happen in the last video, and it always is a little bit annoying because you have a pack of like 4 of them just running around, and you try to QTE the one guy, that doesn't really work. So it's best to save these for the end of the battle to save yourself a lot of headache, and it's not like you need to QTE every single enemy to eventually have a chance at getting an S rank. That's not exactly how the game works. It's more like a bonus that can push you over the edge if you are struggling because, for example, you died in the middle of the level, as we might see. Also, good thing that I did redo this stage, because in the first recording everything was decently fine except for this part, because I massively overthought what you have to do. All you have to do is raise one platform and push the block to the other one. That's it. That's the puzzle. And yes, by the way, you have to push the block onto this button. I failed to show that off. Now I'm going back here because I'm like, wasn't there something I'm forgetting? And yeah, there is something I'm forgetting. Something that I did get in the botched recording, which you are watching right now. So this is basically the canon run, a small glimpse of it. And yeah, if you turn around here, without a good indication, because you can't really turn the camera all that well, there is stuff up here. And I just completely forgot in the re-record. Go me. What I really like about this, however, is that it basically allows you to skip pushing the block. You can just open the door with that button and then you can keep going on your merry way. So it's basically like an upper path for the Werehog. I wish they would do this more often. They do have a few of these instances in these levels, but not nearly enough. This is really cool, and I really like this idea of being able to skip even parts of this slow, plodding platformer part here. This move where Sonic was just punching, kicking, of course, the air a bunch of times. Really hate it, by the way. Barely deals any damage. And this is like XXYYY, whereas I really like the YYXXX move, something like that. So I keep confusing the two, and whenever I do the donkey kick combo, I think it's called this one here. Yeah, see, it does no damage whatsoever. It's terrible. Just assume that I made a mistake. This is exactly why I said I don't like the combo systems too much. What I do like, however, is pushing an enemy up into the air with the Werehog or Werehog, whatever, they do the same thing, and then you can grab him in the air. Another move that you can actually have to unlock with leveling up combat, and slam the enemy down into a group of enemies. That is really, really good, and it basically gives you a way to do a grab attack, like I have used to quite good success, I must say, in Apotos, even with enemies you normally can't grab, because if they are flying, then you can grab them, so that's amazing. Here is another puzzle element introduced, throwing enemies at switches. They really do want you to use the throws, by the way, so yeah. And also, the medal I just got, I forgot in the cannon run. Again, go me. I just realized during this recording, maybe I should check down, there is probably something there. So yeah, there was. But don't worry, I will get it at some point. I'm just saying this so if I do get it in some compilation much later on, you don't get confused. Oh, I thought you already got it. Okay, so another arena. This one here is set up like it wants you to stealth. I feel like this is exactly like, oh yeah, you should sneak up on this guy and then stealth, and then you can do it to the other guy, and it's really cool and awesome. But as I said last time, I really don't like how the stealthing works, because it requires you to do a quick time event at an enemy at full health. And the timing for that is insanely tight. It's terrible. I don't know why they don't let you just instantly kill the guy, because you already took all the effort of stealthing up behind him in a system that is, must I say it, not built for stealth. You know, just in case it wasn't blindingly obvious. This is not Thief. This is not Dishonored. But yeah, anyway. These guys actually were waiting behind the corner, so this is basically treated like a failure state. It's like, okay, so these sleep here, this is why this corner is empty, and if you alert them, then oh my, you have to deal with a bunch of enemies, which you can use as ammunition to kill all the other enemies. Whatever. They are trying something here. I'm not saying they always succeed. Something else they are trying in this stage is setting up these block pushing and then rotating lever puzzles, and you know, many people probably played through Apotos even long after this game came out. We're like, yeah, I heard the Werehog is quite bad, but no, it's fine, like it's not so bad. You brawl a little, you jump a little, it's okay. And then they play the second Werehog stage, and then they get to rooms like this one here, and they're like, what the hell is this shit? And honestly, yeah, sure, this room sucks. Any sort of these puzzles are just tedious, annoying, and why did they do this? Because God of War had block pushing puzzles, of course, and that's why you have to do them here as well, because a lot of the Werehog gameplay is not original in the slightest. It's just the way it is. Here I'm like thinking, wasn't there somewhere I could swing? But yeah, it was in the first room. Oh, sorry about that. And yeah, but if you know at the very least that the game does tell you, if you touch all of these tutorial rings at some point, it will tell you that you can at least speed up the block pushing, which you can also do in God of War, by the way, in case you didn't know that. It's not even close to as tedious as you think, because Kratos can really move it, and so can the Hedgehog if you press the run button, so R2 in this case. Which is, you know, it's fine, but they just shouldn't have them in the first place, in my opinion, because they add absolutely nothing. Cool. So, with that out of the way, free medal. By the way, there is plenty of free medals in these stages. That is because you need them mandatorily to complete the game. Also, I just died. So, let's not talk about that. What happened there is that I just fell in a nook where I thought that the platform was aligned, and then I couldn't double jump because I was carrying a guy. So yeah, that's fun. Anyways, this is a neat puzzle. I like this one. You have to bring a second guy up there. But yeah, the medals are mandatory. I don't think that I've mentioned that yet, and the game certainly hasn't, but at some point you need a certain amount of them to get enough Gaia energy or whatever, so that you can unlock more levels. This grates people a lot. The game does, as I said, give you free medals sometimes, but probably not nearly enough to just not have to bother at all. You do have to sometimes look for stuff. By the way, as I said, the original recording went quite well, except for the audio part, so I did actually make this jump here, and yeah, I admit as well, it's a little bit janky to make this. I did, however, forget to get the medal down there, so another thing for my personal notes to take care of later. See, that's like, you know, that's what happens if you do these just a little bit loosely. Anyway, back to the main non-canon run, where I do get this medal. Swing again from the bottom, it's all fine. Again, this is like a top path and you're rewarded with another medal, so that's nice. And here, don't forget this one, there is another medal down here, which again is kind of nice, rewarding you for taking another look and so on. But again, I do get it, like if you don't like the Werehog and just want to get these things over with, then you are not going to bother exploring, and it's not going to feel like a reward to you to get these medals. Instead, it's going to be a terrible chore and making you do more of the game that you already don't like doing. And I fully understand that. It's just like I'm trying to push back against the idea that it is necessarily a terrible thing to have to collect these things, because for me at least, I just really like collecting things. That's one thing, but also just getting into these corners in general is a good idea, because it does help you get rid of the Werehog stages a little bit quicker as well, because there is plenty of power-ups and extra experience and unleash meter juice hidden there. For example, it would be really nice if I had gotten up in this corner where you see the 10 ring above that pushable block before I did this fight, because not only can you get healed there if you're struggling, you can destroy a melon and get unleashed juice, and also there's a damage power up, which would have made the fight a lot easier, quicker, you know? That's something you want if you don't like playing as the Werehog. So here's a hot tip. If you decide, you know what, I should give this game a chance, because man, the day stages are really fun, and Simon is at least showing me some tricks to get the combat faster. Do explore a little. You will have to at some point. There is a lot more medals in the Werehog stages than there are in the day stages. And of course, also you have the split between sun and moon medals. There is more moon medals in the day stages and vice versa. And this way you can, in fact, make it quicker, even though you are spending a little bit of extra time going through these stages. It's just a PSA. Again, I do realize not everybody likes the Werehog. I don't mind the Werehog, I don't love it, but that's also, I like it and I don't mind it, because I have ways around his shortcomings. I did find them out while playing, because I was open to what the game wanted to tell me and experimented a little. I'm not saying that you are wrong or playing the game badly for not doing that, because if you don't like something, why would you experiment? But that is what I did, and this is how I found these things out. And yeah, this is sadly just a little bit too short, so I will have to, in fact, push the levers a little bit more. And that's also something that is actually kind of annoying about the Werehog. First of all, that jerk keeps shooting you. Nice reward for figuring out the secret in this room. But also, some of these jumps are quite tight. You had a bunch of those in Apotos where you could barely reach a medal or a 10 ring. And here, this is the second time where you had to readjust just a little bit, because the lever is so small. And I don't really understand why they do this. Like, why require this kind of precision? It adds nothing, similar to the block pushing. This is a waste of time. I know, yes, I like to praise the Werehog sometimes, and I do think that it's not that bad, but some of these design decisions are honestly moronic, and they shouldn't have done them. Anyway, this is the final fight here, so obviously I'm going to unleash because I got a bunch of juice. As usual, I am going to always recommend that you juice up if at all possible, because it will make fight go quicker, and then you explore a little bit, get your juice back, which you not only, again, get from enemies, then you find power-ups like here, the shield, so it's fine, I can tank a little bit more, and so on. I do try to show Hokken and then slam down the enemies, which I managed to do in the botched recording. I have a bonus clip of that at the end. looks really cool. But here is like, I almost pull it off, but then they can hit you out of the animation. It's like, why is that even possible? Please, like, what am I supposed to do about that? Here, I pull it off, yes, but by this point it's a little bit late. It's not as cool anymore. Anyway, as I said, final fight, we finished the level. And remember, I did die, which erases all the points I have, but it's 7,500 points for each quick time event. That counts for a lot. So if you do a bunch of those at the end, and if the level has a boss, it's like 40,000, yeah, that helps you a lot to get over these thresholds. So it is possible to die, still get an S rank. But enough of that, time for a whole bunch of cutscenes with everybody's favorite character, Professor Pickle.
Professor Pickle! Are you alright? We got here as fast as we could. Professor?
Hello?
How dare they call this culinary concoction food? Look here, do you see this sorry excuse for a sandwich? The bread should be no less than 3/4 of an inch thick. Upon it, 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise and a pinch of black pepper. The contents, fresh cucumber, sliced thinly, if you please. Am I quite right, Tails?
I know I learned something here today.
Professor, it's good to see you haven't changed.
But tell me, what brings you here? The menu is hardly worth the trip, if you ask me.
No, Professor. We came here to rescue you.
Oh? Oh, I see. How rude of me. Right then, first things first. It's about time someone taught the chef here how to make a proper sandwich.
You can file a complaint later, Professor.
Let's get out of here before Eggman's welcoming committee shows up.
Oh, yes, quite. But let us be sure to collect the contents of that vault before departing. Ah, thank you. Those documents are our only hope for surviving this crisis. Let's go. There's no time to lose. I'm half starved after being fed nothing but those terrible sandwiches.
Want some chocolate, Professor?
My. Don't mind if I do. These ancient documents are known as the Gaia manuscripts. They tell the legend of a disaster that befell our planet some tens of thousands of years ago.
A disaster?
Quite. And according to the Gaia manuscripts, this isn't the first time the planet has been broken apart into pieces. The cause lies at the very core of the planet. All the phenomena we've witnessed are the direct result of one creature. The hyper-energy organism spawned at the planet's core, Dark Gaia.
So how do we stop this Dark Gaia and put the world back together?
Luckily, Dark Gaia has yet to be fully reborn. We most likely have Dr. Eggman's premature wake-up call to thank for that. If we act now, we may be able to restore the planet by returning power to the Chaos Emeralds. Sonic, you must travel to each of the temples listed in the Gaia manuscripts. The planet's power will restore the Chaos Emeralds, and in turn, the Chaos Emeralds will restore the planet and help it heal naturally.
Say what you will about Chip, but at least his funny antics in the background give you something to look at while the professor is telling you what your actual main mission is. It's necessary, I guess, because this game has very complicated lore, but whew, there was a lot of it. Next time we're getting around to that main mission. Thank you very much for your attention.